Bonjour, kakna auyag, miigwetska bizendawshiag. Hello all, and thank you for listening to me. I want to share this video about the language that I speak. It's one of the Ojibwe dialects in Ontario, especially in the far north. It's known as Severn Ojibwe, or Ojibwe language, as it is also known as. So the word that we'll be looking at is Negineta Babame Pagunejigane Batomenaban. It's quite a lengthy word. It's a long word, but we'll analyze it by looking at this later. But first, I would like to begin by looking at this slide where you can actually see how it is being built up. So the one that we're looking at is Bimibatu. That's he or she is running, or something animate is running. Okay, the language and culture is based on animacy and inanimacy. Okay, and I'll explain that again in the upcoming videos if I'm not too lazy to work on them. But most likely I will work on them. I would like to share it. So Pime Bato, he or she is running. So Pime Bato, there's actually two words that are placed together. Pime is going by, Bato is a running motion. So these are two morphemes that are placed together. Each of these can be used, each of these words, like Pime, for example, can be used in other phrases. And similarly, Batu, same thing, you can actually use it in other phrases. So the first one is Nepime Batu, I am running. Okay, just by adding ne, which refers to myself or I, Pime Batu, I am running. So that's the prefix that I added. Similarly, right here, Nibimibatu men. Okay, Nibimibatu men. Its English equivalent is we are running. It's not including you, but myself and someone else or other people are running. Nibimibatu men. So the suffix men is added here. Nebimibatu men. The next one is Neki bimibatu men. We ran. Okay. Neki bimibatu men. So ki is added here, which represents the tense. In this case, it's the past tense, as you can see, ran. Neki bimibatu men. Neki bimibatu menaban. We used to run. Naban just refers even further back, a long time ago, that we used to run. Negi pime batome naban. Negi babame pime batome naban refers to we used to run around here and there, but not doing that any longer. Negi babame pime batome naban. Negi babame bagunejigane bimebatomenaban. So as you can see, it's getting longer and longer just by adding these prefixes, infixes, and suffixes to the word. It's a beautiful language because it's very descriptive. You can almost see it in your. You can almost see the vision of what is happening when you're using this language. So we, me and others, used to run around here and there with a hole in our socks, but no longer doing that. So if we go back to this first slide, So this, the inflection part of it is, as I mentioned earlier, adding prefixes, infixes, and suffixes, and the word becomes longer and longer, as you can see right here. So ne is me, or I, myself. Ki is past tense. Neta is the new word that's been added to this slide. We didn't see this one in the previous slide we looked at. So this refers to frequency. It happened more than once. Okay, it frequently happened. Babame is here and there. Babame. Bagone is a reference to a hole. And shigane is a reference to a sock. Shigane. Bagone shigane actually makes sense on its own. If it were on its own, which basically means he or she has a hole in his or her sock. Bime is a reference to going by. Bime. Bateau is a reference to a running motion. Bateau. Mena is a reference to myself and others. So this is where the number changes. Instead of just myself, the others are included, or somebody else is included. And then finally, pan. Okay, it's a reference to the past and no longer doing that. So negi nita babame bagunejigane bime batumenaban. Negi nita babame bagunejigane bime batumenaban. I'm saying that a little bit faster, and yeah, so that's how beautiful the language works. Below it is the syllabic version. So there's actually consonant and vowel clusters here, like ne represents an I, ki, the dot above it, represents the longer vowel sound. Negi neta babame bagunejigane bime batumenaban. Okay, so I'm using the English alphabet to write in the indigenous language, and I'm also using the voiceless sounds. Okay, the language itself, the languages, many of the indigenous languages in Canada were orally transmitted. Okay, so there was really no writing system historically. So the one that I'm using is a double vowel writing system, as adopted by Charles Fierro. But in this case, in my case, I'm only using the voiceless sounds. Okay, K, for example, instead of a voice sound G. Similarly, T instead of a D, and P instead of a B. And I'll explain that in upcoming episodes as well of these writing systems. So I'm hoping you learned something of my language. And so, yeah, it is a beautiful language. It's very descriptive. And I hope you learned something from it. Miya binama.